Sonic the Summer Special Issue 3. In the Metropolis prison, where people are turned into badniks, Sonic saves some escapees from a robot. Tails says he'll carry them over the wall before they could raise the alarm, and Sonic says that all of the Emerald Hill folk are saved. So the entire village was raided again? Man, Porker and Sonic suck at defending that place. No wonder they had to evacuate. What about making a security system for the village is so hard? Eggman complains that one of his hundreds of spy cameras on Mobius must have seen Sonic by now, and Eggman calls the prisoners ungrateful, says he's that delusional. He grabs and strangles Grimer, saying it's his fault because he was supposed to find Sonic, and I guess his grip wasn't that tight since he was still able to talk to tell him they did find him. Eggman goes up to a machine of his as Sonic is charging up the Star Post by running around it so they can get the prisoners to the floating island with the rest of the Emerald Hill folk. The villager says that he thought Eggman had destroyed all the Star Posts, and Sonic says they managed to save one, which they've been carrying around in this caravan. It's the only way that they can get to the floating island, as opposed to using a plane. Tails has one, I guess the logic is that they'd be shot down, but didn't they use a hyperspring to get to it at one point? Is that just going to be forgotten about? The hyperspring reminds me of how you get to the special stages in Sonic Advance 1, which is especially disappointing that it's vanished. Eggman spots the heroes and prisoners in his mech, and Tails is told to get the prisoners to safety. Tails hopes that Eggman hasn't noticed the caravan, or else he'd discover Sonic travels around the globe disguised as Bob Beaky in his traveling circus. If he did, he'd probably go after every caravan. How's he supposed to know which one it is? Sonic gets grabbed by the NECA, and he smartly decides to stall Eggman by getting him to tell him how he tracked him here. Tails flies ahead, but no, of course he wasn't allowed to save the day. Instead, Eggman is the smart one because he throws Sonic into a wall rather than telling him that information, and after there's some condescending doubt over whether he survived, yes, Sonic goes super again. He destroys Eggman's mech and tries to look for Eggman to incinerate him, as he should. Unfortunately, through the power of bullshit, Eggman escaped. How? Sonic can go at supersonic speed here. And Sonic kills the pig prisoner in his violence craze, which through the power of plot convenience immediately brings it back to normal. He's relieved that it was the pig he destroyed because, as he explains calling Tails Pixel Brain, just before he turned super, Eggman told him how he tracked them. The pig was carrying a homing device, and it was a disguised badnik all along. Tails was thankful after that, because if they had transported the pig infiltrator to the floating island, Eggman would have found out where the rest of the Emerald Hill folk were hiding. Sonic calls him Buddy, saying he's glad that didn't happen, and the story ends. In the next story, we have Shortfuse being a protagonist, and Shortfuse is infamous because every time he shows up, the writer treats the audience like morons by having him retell us his entire backstory. Of course, you can't just skip the recap, and since I know he'll be saying nothing but that whenever he reappears, I'll know to do that. A text blurb says that Shortfuse is a badnik turned good, and he's visiting his outlaw friend Tekno the Canary in her secret workshop. Tekno's an outlaw? I heard the name, but nothing else. She says that the tests have proven he's as strong as ever. She nervously asks if he'd like to eat anything, and is reminded that Shortfuse is a cyberneck who absorbs solar energy for food. That's oddly energy efficient and green power of Eggman to design. Why would she forget that he can't eat when he doesn't even have a mouth? Shortfuse wishes he could forget what it's like to be trapped in this armor, and the alarm goes off as there's badniks above the workshop. Shortfuse flies and destroys some badniks, and then gets electrocuted and says he can't think clearly. He's given a vision to obey Eggman and destroy Sonic and is brainwashed. In Rocky Desert Zone, where Amy has adopted a plaid green skirt and white t-shirt, Sonic tells Amy and Tails to attack the badniks fighting him while he'll deal with Shortfuse, the biggest threat. Sonic, after getting hit, runs in a circle around Shortfuse, and for some reason some green gas shows up. What is that, miscolored dust? Tekno says that she's a friend of his, and Shortfuse is being controlled by a magnetic disc. She noticed that in all that commotion? I thought that Eggman brainwashed him by shooting an electricity wave at him. I was reminded of when Uncle Chuck was supposedly brought back to Eggman's side by being shot at with a ray. Shortfuse destroys the magnetic disc and flies away. With his vendetta against Eggman's badniks and looking like a robot himself, he reminds me of Omega. In the next story, Sonic is shown in a newspaper that a film director, Steven Spielberg, is holding auditions for someone to play Sonic in a movie. Oh boy, this is topical today. Why are they holding auditions at all instead of just getting Sonic? Well, to be fair, maybe Sonic's not the best actor, who knows? Now, Johnny reveals that the director is someone he's never heard of. I immediately guessed that he was an evil agent of Eggman, or Eggman in disguise after hearing that. This comic is so transparent. And Sonic has an amusing, chuckle-worthy line where he says arrogantly, "Who cares? Anyone who wants to make a movie about me must be an okay guy." You'll change your tune, Sonic. And Tails warns Sonic that it could be a trap as they go to the studios. At least it's Tails who is the smart one and not Sonic for once, but this is just even more clumsy foreshadowing that immediately gives away the plot twist. Sonic says that Tails is just camera shy, because camera shyness makes you paranoid of a trap apparently. Squealbird says that Sonic's got no need to audition, he's perfect for the part, which also makes me suspicious, as why'd he put up audition notices then? He smirks that he will catch Sonic's best side, and Tails is suspicious some more. He's grabbed by some robots rather than being allowed to be a Chekhov's gun saving the day, and Eggman takes off his disguise and splashes Sonic and his friends with his camera goop. A hardening goop that only he has the antidote for. Why did he make an antidote? Oh well, I guess in case Sonic or someone else hits him with it. Never mind. Sonic uses his super speed to surround Eggman, wanting to see how far the stuff will stretch before hardening. Eggman pointlessly tells him not to trap him in the goop, and he tells the robot to spray him with the antidote gas as the heroes get free. Tails then creates a tornado below him by spinning his tails to get away from the robots, which he should have done a while ago and used a lot more often if this is an ability he has. And the story ends without the comic making up for when Sonic disbelieved him about killing some badniks by having Tails reveal to him how he got out of that situation. This issue was by Nigel Kitchen. In the first story, the heroes try to free the prisoners who were in Sonic's village from Metropolis Prison, and when Sonic goes super, he conveniently remembers learning from Eggman that the pig was an infiltrator and goes to destroy him before conveniently powering down instead of killing everyone in sight. I really hate that it's not explained how Eggman got away. That was way too easy for him. The infiltrator would have revealed with a homing device that the villagers were being smartly moved to Angel Island. The second story has Shortfuse, who is brainwashed to fight Sonic with the magnetic disc of all things, and Tekno fortunately actually noticed the disc and is able to remove it when he's made dizzy from Sonic's speed, creating gas out of complete nowhere. And the third story is another predictable story where Eggman uses a disguise, this time a disguise as a film director, to lure Sonic and friends into a trap, and this time Sonic stretches some hardening glue to get rid of it and get it around Eggman and escapes with his friends. Also, the comic really glosses over the fact that Tails escaped the robot in a cool way. He could have used that to impress Sonic for once.